Anti-government forces in eastern Ukraine vow a complete withdrawal of their heavy weapons, but Kiev says it won't follow suit because their positions are being fired on. Islamic State militants opened 2 English language schools for the children of foreign fighters in the city of Raqqa. That's the group's Syrian stronghold. It is now just about 12 o'clock noon here in the Russian capital. Welcome to the news here on RT International. We've got the latest world headlines for this hour. The self-proclaimed republics in the east of Ukraine are preparing to start removing their hardware and heavy artillery from the front line. The move, of course, is part of the Minsk peace deal, which has already brought relative calm and stopped the vast majority of shelling in the embattled region. So far, though, Kiev has not been so forthcoming. An explanation now from the region with RT correspondent Murat Gazdiev.
The 2 self-proclaimed republics here in eastern Ukraine have announced that they're pulling back heavy weapons away from the front lines as dictated by the Minsk agreements. That is, the multiple rocket launcher systems, the large caliber artillery. OSCE monitors will be there, will be watching to confirm that pullout. But the other side, the other belligerent in all of this, the Ukrainian government says that its military won't be following suit. For now, it says that its heavy weapons will stay on the front lines because of ceasefire violations by the anti-government forces. Both sides, by the way, accuse each other of taking pot shots across the front lines. And the Ukrainian government says that unless those stop, its heavy weapons won't be withdrawn. The anti-government fighters, though, go further. They're accusing the Ukrainian government of pulling more heavy weapons to the front lines. So a lot of disagreement there. And the subject was broached at a press conference with the White House press secretary.
With the Ukrainians now saying that they cannot withdraw their heavy arms, which would apparently be a violation of the Minsk agreements. Well, first, would you consider that a violation of Minsk agreements?
I think we need to remember the context here, Elliot. Obviously, in terms of withdrawal of arms and moving back and de-escalating, a large percentage of that and the needs are from the Russian-backed separatist side. They're in a country that is not their own, that is a sovereign country. And so that is where we have the greatest concern. There are many times over the course of the last several months where Ukraine has even put in place ceasefires where they've abided by it and the Russian side has not. The Russian-backed separatists have not.
So you would say that the decision by the Ukrainian government is justified?
They're defending their own sovereign country.
At the same time, the leaders of the Normandy Four, France, Germany, Ukraine and Russia are keeping a very close eye on the implementation of the Minsk agreements, on this ceasefire. They're keeping in constant contact, and the foreign ministers of those states will be gathering in Paris for more talks and for closer coordination on implementing the Minsk agreements.
Well, in the meantime, Ukrainian officials, as well as their Western backers, are trying to prove that Russia provides heavy weapons to anti-government forces in eastern Ukraine. But as RT's Gaine Chichikan reports, the evidence picked up by various media outlets and even the hardline evidence showed to the U.S. Congress, well, it's all been rather misleading.
The Washington Free Beacon has published photos that were supposed to prove that Russia is arming Ukraine. This is one of the images showing a convoy of Russian tanks. Quickly after this came out, people started tweeting to the author of the article, pointing out that this was taken 6 years ago in South Ossetia. The fact is that the Washington Free Beacon received these photos from Senator Jim Inhofe, a member of the Armed Services Committee, who in turn received them from Ukrainian lawmakers. Jim Inhofe presented these images on the Senate floor as evidence of Russia's involvement in Ukraine.
Putin keeps saying we don't have any Russians in there with the separatists. It's not us. We're not doing it. Look, here they are. There's the pictures we brought back with us. Those are the tanks that all lined up, all of that within that area of Ukraine. And clearly, that's what they are.
When the senator realized his mistake, he issued this statement. The Ukrainian parliament members who gave us these photos in print form, as if it came directly from a camera, really did themselves a disservice. I was furious to learn one of the photos provided now appears to be falsified from an AP photo taken in 2008. Nevertheless, the senator from Oklahoma still thinks Russia is involved with weapons in Ukraine. German channel ZDF aired a news segment featuring this photo with the caption, "Russian armored vehicles moved through Isvarina in the Lugansk region, February 12, 2015. The channel cited a Ukrainian army spokesperson. A German media watchdog group known as the Permanent Open Committee of Media Monitoring spotted that this same photo was used in a Korean blog posting from 2009. The German media watchdog has filed a complaint against the channel over false reporting. Questions were raised over images that U.S. officials provided as proof of Russia's military involvement. U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine tweeted this image, saying it shows Russian artillery northeast of Debaltseve. To identify Russian artillery behind these dark patches, you would have to trust the U.S. analysis of the images. The Russian Defense Ministry compared that analysis to reading the tea leaves. UK officials at NATO posted images of Russia's advanced anti-aircraft artillery system called Pantsir S-1 or SA-22. They say they took the images from public sources, the media that is. One of them comes from an outlet called Bellingcat. The date on the image is January 24th, 2015. Location, Shakhtarsk, Ukraine. But on the Bellingcat website, the location on this same photo is Rostov region, which is in Russia. And the date is a bit off, January 23rd. So not clear if the UK officials were being sloppy or just misleading. In Washington, I'm Ganesh Chekyan, RT.
All the talk of Russian troops in Ukraine has certainly raised the specter of an all-out war with Russia. President Vladimir Putin brushed aside these fears during an extended interview with a Russian TV channel.
I think this apocalyptic scenario is hardly possible, and I hope this will never happen. I do not want to give any advice, but the priorities should be the return of the country to normality and adjusting the economy and social sphere to re-establish relations with the southeast of the country in a civilized manner.
The Russian president's statement came in response to rhetoric from his Ukrainian counterpart. On his Twitter feed, Petro Poroshenko vowed to regain control of Crimea, calling it inevitable. He insists Ukraine will never give up its right to the region and will use all available means. For now on the program, Islamic State militants are reported to have opened 2 schools in the Syrian city of Raqqa, which certainly suggests the number of foreign fighters joining the group is always on the rise. That's because the subjects, ranging from religious education and mathematics, are all taught in English. Children aged between 6 and 14 are accepted. Boys and girls have to study separately. And the leaflet promoting the schools also encourages English speakers from all over the world to come and teach in Raqqa. And British Muslim commentator Mohammed Ansar says the biggest concern about these kinds of schools is the children will be taught a twisted ideology.
Ultimately, children of people who have gone out to the region and children who are born in the region to English-speaking families are going to need educating. Some of the broader concerns are going to be about what they're being taught. When it comes to issues of aqidah and fiqh, issues around Islamic jurisprudence and the kind of Islamic curriculum they're going to be teaching, are they going to be teaching something from an authentic liberal tradition within Islam, or are they going to be teaching a potentially twisted ideology? These are real concerns, especially since ISIS have been condemned by Muslim scholars from all around the world.
3 teenage girls from Britain are suspected to have fled to Syria to join Islamic State. They were apparently groomed online after contacting jihadists via social media. One of the girls has been following up to 70 extremist accounts on Twitter. Mohammed Ansar says one of the reasons the group is reforming itself is actually to appeal to foreigners.
ISIS are trying to position themselves as something more than just a fighting force. They're trying to be seen to be controlling and delivering local services, children's services, presumably also adult services. This, I suppose, is a natural evolution for that organisation to be trying to provide this kind of thing. They want social, ethical and moral credibility in the region, and ostensibly to keep attracting foreign fighters, especially from the English-speaking world.
ISIS uses social media to promote its message and always make promises of future terror attacks to come. So here on the program on RT International for a moment, let's have a look at one of the more recent threats posted on Twitter by supporters. One message posted on an account linked to the terror group starts with the hashtag, "We're coming to Rome." The group's supporter then goes on to say that gays will be thrown off the famous Leaning Tower of Pisa, but spells the name of the city as pizza. Well, the Italians started laughing and joking and acting with ridicule because, well, another user suggests that ISIS probably needs to be taught that the famous tower is actually in the city of Pisa, as the name suggests, it's not in Rome. Others say that Sharia's domination probably won't get past the traffic jams on Rome's gridlocked ring road. In fact, with traffic limited in many areas of the city, militants are advised to use public transport and avoid the fines. All right, still to come. Here on RT International, Greece has submitted a plan of reforms to Eurozone leaders to try and secure a loan extension. Those details and the rest of this hour's top world headlines coming up in a moment.
We are not talking the language of war, but I will only react to situations.
I have read the reports, but I'm not in a position to...
No, I will leave that to the State Department to comment on your latter point.
I don't want to say that.
Mr. Kerry, do you have any comments on the document? No comment? Thank you.
No more weasel words. When you evade a direct question, be prepared for a chase. When you throw a punch, be ready for a battle.
Freedom of speech means little without the freedom to question.